in front of Old Montreal in the middle of the St. Lawrence Seaway, a circuit named for one of Formula One's greatest mavericks. Gilles Villeneuve was pure excitement behind the wheel. Yesterday, his track provided a qualifying session where the limit was accessible to so many, but only achieved by one. George Russell is on pole for the first time this season, but for the second year in a row. Max Verstappen is alongside him on the front row. Game on at the front in Formula One. Good afternoon and welcome to the Canadian Grand Prix. 70 laps ahead of us around a historic circuit first used by the championship in 1978. It runs to 2.7 miles, 4.3 kilometers. And getting your tyres to work has been a story of the weekend. We're at the softer end of the compounds once again. The C6, the C5 and the C4 tyres. What we expect to be a two-stop Grand Prix, but it's not defined. It could yet swing back to a one-stop, but the temperatures have increased on this Grand Prix Sunday. Let's go from the back to the front for the 10th round of the year. We're going to have two in the pit lane. Pierre Gasly, Liam Lawson. They've both changed power unit components, and as a result, they are starting when the green light illuminates at the end of the pit lane. Back row of the grid, therefore, becomes Yuki Tsunoda, who had a 10th place penalty for overtaking under a red flag. Lance Stroll returns to the cockpit at his home Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz knocked out of Q1 for 2 races in a row. Gabriel Bortoleto is P15. 200 races in Formula One for Haas, and they're alongside each other. 13th and 14th, Behrman and Ocon. Then it's Isaac Hadjar, who had a 3-place penalty for impeding Carlos Sainz. Nico Hülkenberg gets his best start of the year after his best result of the year at the last Grand Prix. Franco Colapinto in the top 10 for the first time with Alpine. Alex Albon thought there was more on the table for Williams. He's not the only one who felt that way in the top 10. Charles Leclerc thought he should have been way further forward than 8th. Lando Norris had a moment on his first run, left him in 7th position. This row, 5th and 6th, combined age, 83 years of age between Hamilton and Alonso. Antonelli was strong in 4th on a used set of tyres. Oscar Piastri, largest margin he's been away from pole position all year. It's only 2/10, mind you, in P3. And that front row, how about it? Max Verstappen there for the 5th time this season and for the 6th time in his Formula One career. George Russell will lead us from the line. Green flag at the back. Here come the lights. The Canadian Grand Prix is underway. Top 3 are as they were. Antonelli, will he go brave to the inside to try and take 3rd? He does so, and he improves to put 2 Mercedes in the top 3. There was no opportunity for Max Verstappen to get by. It's Russell, then Verstappen, then Antonelli. Down a place goes our championship leader. Colapinto won't want to give it up, and Albon's off the road as a result. Rejoining, flat to the floor, cars everywhere, either side, and Hülkenberg's going to take 2 places.
Fairly nip and tuck, and then Kimi saw that wide opportunity. Look how much space actually he's giving everyone around him, and in the end he got a good enough drive off the second corner to claim the track position on the McLaren. Nico's been around long enough to know what potentially was coming, and in the end he would have said thank you very much.
Wide moment for Fernando Alonso. Norris trying to stand on the power and improve a place.
We're going to see Lando Norris get a fairly easy pass here on Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, the hard tyre is the one to be on. Lewis Hamilton's coming into the pits, but he's going to be passed before he gets there by Lando Norris. Laid on the brakes for Carlos Sainz. Late braking move and a position gain for Sainz. So Tsunoda is the driver we're on board with, trying to improve, and he did improve up to 13th. Kimi Antonelli coming in, trying to secure his first podium in Formula One. And he is fighting his way ahead on the racetrack, but it's a different corner that does always give the advantage to the inside line. We saw that last year. So this was at the hairpin. Lance Stroll getting past Pierre Gasly.
So unlike the block pass that we saw from Sainz earlier on, he had a lot to do still at the apex.
Lance Stroll got a 10-second penalty for forcing Pierre Gasly off the racetrack. 4.1 seconds separate the top 4. We've waited a while for them to bunch up, but bunch up they have. Yeah, that gap's come down from 4 seconds to 2.5 since the pit stop for the second McLaren in the Grand Prix.
It would be very brave to get a pass done here.
Oh, that angle made it look like he was going for the latest of lunges. Is there an opportunity for Lando Norris? Thinking about it to the inside. Piastri tries to fight back. The crowd on their feet in the grandstand. The top two in the World Championship side by side. And Norris can't fight his way by. We go to turn one. No, he's ripped off the front wing. The McLarens collide. Lando Norris into the wall and out of the race. Chasing fourth place. The McLarens collide and Norris is out. And they ran wheel to wheel for so long, but collided on the pit straight.
He's actually hit his wing on the back of Oscar before getting alongside.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a misjudgment. So he's hoping that space is going to open up, and it just doesn't. So he drives into the back of his teammate.
Are you all right, dude?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's all my bad. All my fault. Unlucky. Sorry. Stupid for me.
Well, admire the man for owning it straight away rather than calling foul. Would have worked perfectly if it was any other angle of attack.
Across the line we go. George Russell wins the Canadian Grand Prix, and he converts pole position to win the Canadian Grand Prix for the first time in his career. His first win of the season, Mercedes' first win of the season. Lando Norris with the big risk moment and the retirement that loses him 10 points for his tally in the World Championship. On a historic day for Antonelli, a great day for Mercedes, and a useful day in the World Championship for Max Verstappen. Montreal once again putting on a show.
Yeah, I felt good about that race. Obviously there was a lot of chatter before the race, especially about the start, but I felt good, felt confident, focused on myself, was fast where we needed to be, and just controlled it from start to finish. So yeah, really pleased to get a win on the board.
It was tough there, to be honest. The first two stints, I think, was struggling quite a bit with the tires. So we had to drive a very defensive race, quite an aggressive strategy. Also with the final stop was quite early. But it worked for us. We kept the cars behind, even though I never really felt like I had the pace to fight for the win.
It's amazing. It's a great feeling. Was very, very stressful, especially the last lap. They felt so long. Honestly, I was out of 10. I was not only looking in the mirror, but I was looking at the screen to see how many laps were left because, it was very stressful. I mean, the McLaren were coming back because on the last stint they pushed a bit too hard behind Max and started to degrade the front left, and it was not easy, but super happy with the result.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously haven't seen it, so I don't really know. I was defending the inside and then felt a small touch, and that's honestly all I have at the moment. So. Yeah, obviously a shame for the team, and it was a bit of a difficult race apart from that, but yeah, just not the easiest of weekends.
I thought Oscar would move a bit more to the right, not to leave a gap, obviously. I don't expect something to be easy from him, but I just misjudged it. It was all my mistake. I take full blame, so I apologise to my whole team and to Oscar for attempting something like that.